We spent the last 3 months trying some of the best ramen in both Singapore and Tokyo, and here were the ratings. Very surprisingly, I was actually happy with most of it. There was, however, one tonkotsu that I was craving for more than the others. And that brings us right into our first award of the day, the Best Tonkotsu Award. The nominees are Bonito Tonkotsu by Ippudo, a great union between the flavors of bonito and tonkotsu. A happy marriage, something you don't see too often nowadays. Nanzute Tonkotsu by Nanzute, a tonkotsu complemented by 3 of my favorite things: black garlic, spring onions, and bean sprouts. A really well-rounded tonkotsu. And lastly, Ajitama Uma by Bari Uma, a tonkotsu gao, if you will. So thick, it borders the line of being a tsukemen. Winner of the Best Tonkotsu Award goes to Bari Uma. The thick and rich porky broth was something that I missed the entire time after trying it. I had tonkotsu cravings here and there during the series, and surprisingly, Bari Uma was the bowl that came to mind even though I gave it a 2 plates. With that, I'm going to make the only moderation to the ratings. Bari Uma gets 3 plates. The next award goes to the best noodles in the series, which is a little bit of an iffy award to give, because noodle texture is very much a preference that differs not only from person to person, but also depends on the broth that you serve it with, whether it's heavy or light. But these 3 bowls of noodles gave me the most memorable slurps. Shio Ramen by Ramen Ya, Niigata Shoyu Ramen by Sanpote, and Tantan Mian by Nakiryu. Winner of the Best Noodles Award goes to Ramen Ya. It was the most bouncy slurp amongst all of the 25 bowls of ramen I tried. I'm not sure if it's the quality of the noodles or that the chef nailed the timing on the cook, but I can still remember how each curve of the noodle felt. Anyway, moving on to the next award. I began this journey not thinking much about the ramen chashu. I thought ramen should be more about the noodles and the broth, but I have since changed that opinion. Having a big bite of meat to chase the slurp of delicious noodles really caps the ramen experience. That said, here are the places where I had the 3 most mouth-watering chashus. Santoka with their Toksen Toroniku, Ramen Ya with some beautifully glazed and torched chashu, and Soba House Hototogitsu with some gorgeously pink and complex tasting meat. Winner of the Best Chashu Award goes to Ramen Ya. It's a simple idea, torching a piece of meat after glazing it, almost like how they do it with yakitori, but it's so effective. Along the journey, we were met with chashus that opt to go for a clean tasting profile, and almost every time I will say to myself, why don't you do it like Ramen Ya? Isn't it way more interesting than boiled meat? But you know what's more interesting than good ramen chashu? A great ramen broth. A benefit of hunting for good ramen is that you're essentially also hunting for good soups. And these 3 bowls of ramen were just begging for some rice to be thrown in. Which, by the way, is a very common way to eat ramen. I just couldn't do it for this series because my appetite is small. Anyway, Brothers Ramen, Tsuta, and lastly, Soba House Hototogitsu. Winner of the Best Ramen Broth Award goes to Soba House Hototogitsu. A broth that I could not describe. I might have to cook for 10 more years and maybe take a few vocabulary classes with my skills future credits before I can start to break down the flavors for you all. This bowl is a special one. It really changed my perspective on ramen broth. And then next, something that is very important, but I never really got to talk about it during the series. The Best Value Award. It was tough to work this in because all the ramen places have different standards. Some include their chashus and ramen eggs in their default, while the others don't. So without further ado, these are the best bang for your buck ramen on this island. Brothers Ramen, a top tier ramen that comes with both chicken and pork chashu, a ramen egg and menma for one of the lowest prices in the series. Ramen ya, same story, the full suite of ingredients featuring my favorite chashu and a really tasty ramen egg. And there's no third nominee because no one else came close to this value point. And the winner is Brothers Ramen and Ramen ya. I'm going to call it a tie because the value point of both these places are so far above the competition. They both deserve this award. Obviously, I have left out the places in Tokyo for this award because it wouldn't really make sense. And now, what it all comes down to. When I give out the ratings, it is based on what I think is the most delicious and not how good they are. So when I say that these are the top 3 ramens in Singapore, what I'm really saying is that these are the 3 bowls of ramen that after 13 weeks of eating the dish, I still cannot wait to go back to. But maybe I caught them on a good day. Maybe I was more lenient on the earlier ramens of the series. I guess the only way to know for sure is to head out one last time to try all of these ramens back to back in order to determine which is the best ramen in Singapore. Let's get it, guys. We're back, boys. We finally get to eat Brothers Ramen again. Although I'm a little worried because some of you have sent me like pictures of Brothers Ramen and their queue seems to be insane. It's now 11:30 on Friday, so hopefully it's not too bad. Oh well, we tried.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah. That took like 12, 19, 50 minutes about. Okay, I say 50 minutes, but the counter is now 324 and I'm 336. So I'm 10 bowls of ramen behind. The previous time I said that it's very quiet, right? Now it's peak lunch hour. Thank you. Yeah. Finally, we're back. I'm gonna dive right in. To be honest, I was a little bit insecure. Back when we first came here in episode 2, I haven't had much ramen before that, so maybe I was just more easily impressed. But after going through all these bowls, Brothers Ramen is not as good. It is better. The bowl that I had today was tastier than the one that I had. I'm pretty sure they changed something about their chashu. It's tastier today. And the chicken broth is still as rich and clean as ever. I don't know whether they added more chashu to mine because it seems a little bit ridiculous. I had 3 pieces of pork, 1 chicken, 3 thick stalks of menma, and 1 egg for $13.90. Can somebody verify this? Did they give me more? If not, it's crazy eh. And these noodles are so salty. But it's really salted to a point that I love. Like, I can tell it's very salty, but at the same time, I like it so much. Anyway, great bowl of ramen. Time to move on to number 2. Second ramen of the day. This was a surprising one. I didn't expect this to be top 3. But at the end of the series, there was one tonkotsu that was missing that I wanted to give another go. And that is... Can I get the bari uma? Thank you. Thank you.
Your baruma.
Thank you very much. Well, this broth seems darker and less heavy maybe? Chashu is more cooked though. Anyway. I chose this as one of the top 3 because it is the tonkotsu that I wanted to come back to the most. That thick tonkotsu broth, right, clinging onto the noodles was something I really miss. And unfortunately, I'm going to continue to miss. The tonkotsu today is different. You can see that the consistency is much lighter today. It doesn't cling to the noodles as much, it isn't as thick. And even the taste is cheaper today. You can see that the hue is a bit darker, which means that they went a bit heavier on the tare. And this time is saltier. But the broth fundamentally is different. It is not as deep or porky as the last one. Now this is a bit awkward because I chose this as one of the top 3. But what I had today is not top 3 worthy. Maybe on another day it would. But anyhow, still one of the better tonkotsus in Singapore. Hopefully you all will get a better bowl. A one with thicker consistency. DM me on IG if you all do come here. Anyway, let's get to the last of the top 3. Last place, boys. I wonder if it's obvious, the top 3. Has it been obvious? Has it been obvious? Could you all tell that the last one is this? Can I get the tsukemen? Okay. Let's get it. I got more spring onions this time. This much for $1. Very expensive. But no choice, too important really. I just had this recently only, so not much to be surprised about. Still good, for sure. I'm not sure if it's really that good, or I'm just super biased towards tsukemen. But I really love tsukemen. Okay, we tasted all the ramen, and now having them back to back to back, the difference in standard becomes more obvious. I will let better dressed Eldrick announce it. So on the way home after the ramens, I realized I needed to swap out the top 3. Bari Uma was quite far off from the bowl that I had before, and Sampote's service. You guys who have been watching for a while now know that I am not someone who cares about service. But they... how should I phrase this? They managed to make me care. If this was a normal episode, I would have just ignored it and moved on. But after contemplating for a bit, I am not comfortable putting them as top 3. So instead, we are going with Ramen Ya and Enishi. But Eldrick, I hear you ask, did you go down again to check the quality? Hey, don't eh? I cannot afford to keep eating these $20 bowls of noodles. No, don't play the music. No, we are not going to. We are. Well. 11 AM now. Please don't let me queue. That's the tantan.
Going for your soup as well.
Sorry?
After you're done, you're going for a dashi again?
Oh, no.
You need receipt?
No need. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, friends. What am I doing? Do not put this in the top 3. It's just trolling. The layers and levels of flavor is just miles ahead of the competition. The only thing is that it's not what you would traditionally look for in a ramen. Because A is a tantan mian, and B, even as a tantan mian, it tastes more like a Chinese style tantan mian rather than a Japanese style. On the table, right, I realized this time I realized that there was hua jiao and qing hua jiao at that. And I really love that. It's so lemony and numbing and goes so well with the tantan mian. But for sure, what am I doing? This is for sure top 3. On to the next place. Back here at East Village, I finally get to try this ramen again. I have had a much better shio ramen since then, so curious to see how this holds up. Thank you. I'm so mad at myself. What? can you... Oh, why did I choose the other two for top 3? This and Enishi are so obviously better. Now that I have it back to back, the noodle quality is just so good. Not just the texture of it, but there's a very high egg yolk content. There's this very satisfying, rich, fatty flavor to it. Give me these noodles with anything, man. Wanton mee, gan lao mian. Although this time the ramen was a little different. Two differences. One is that I need to check the tape, but I think they cut their chashu thinner this time. And it is significant. While the taste is still really good. I really love this chashu, by the way. The difference in texture between I don't know, 6mm chashu and a 4mm chashu is significant to me. And the second thing that, even though I ordered the shio ramen, the broth that came is as good as tonkotsu. Come on, I mean, like, look at the cloudiness, the fattiness of the broth. Normally with shoyu and shio, you get a little bit of leeway on, you know, the categorization. But this is... if it's a cloudy, porky shio broth, what's the difference to a tonkotsu already? Still delicious, but if I am particular about it and I really want to eat a shio today, then it will be a miss. But the main point being, how can I choose the other two for this? This is so obviously top 3. Now it is a bit more difficult to choose the best ramen. I'll go think about it and I'll see you guys soon. The best ramen in Singapore is... Brothers Ramen. If I learnt anything on this ramen journey, it is that ramen is a dish that shows how much you care. The preparation is tedious and long, the components are many, and at the same time, there is so much room for improvisation. To me, it's really obvious how much Brothers Ramen cares. I think they're the best solely based off the merits of their Brothers Ramen. If we take into account that they are one of the very few places that serves a great bowl of gyro-style ramen, it's a wrap. And finally, to draw the curtains on the series, the 3 most delicious ramens I had, including the ones in Tokyo. Special Tsukemen by Funji. Shio Soba by Soba House Hototogitsu. And Brothers Ramen by Brothers Ramen. The best ramen is... Funji. There's a lesser known Japanese term called taipu, which is used to describe something that is your... how should I say it? Favorite? Bias? And Funji is so my taipu. Sure, you can argue that Tsukemen might be a different category and it's not fair or whatever, but my definition of the best ramen is simply the bowl of ramen that I want to eat again the most. And Funji is exactly what I want, done exactly the way I want it. There are mornings where I wake up, drink my coffee, pull up Skyscanner and take a long look at the number, pull up my bank app and then go back to editing videos. So I'm gonna do what I have never done before. Funji and Soba House Hototogitsu gets the 4 plates. I will fly to Tokyo to try the ramen. There may be better bowls of ramen or tsukemen in Tokyo or Fukuoka or Osaka, but that will have to wait until season 2. And that's it! Thank you all for coming along this ramen hunt with me. I really appreciate all the comments and recommendations. In fact, my biggest regret this series is not asking for recommendations prior to the Tokyo arc. I will make sure to ask for the next series. If you would like to support the channel further, memberships and super thanks are enabled. Which, while we are on this topic, a big thank you to all those who have joined as members or have sent super thanks during the series. I really appreciate you not letting me starve. But more than that, it is very comforting to know that someone out there actually really likes the videos. I will keep trying to get better. As usual, all the places that we visited are documented in a Google spreadsheet. I'll leave the link in the description if you want to check it out. And that's also all I have for you guys this time. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!